Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Zombies. Man, they freak me out. Please like and subscribe and tell us in the comment section if you think that Ryan Gosling would be somehow more masculine as a zombie.
I think Ryan Gosling has already achieved peak manliness, so that there's it's just he's already reached the ceiling. If he was a zombie, it would just be a hat on a hat.
Like who gets to be that handsome and be a zombie? That's not fair. That's not fair to us.
A
Or we
lot of
can
women would line up to be eaten by him, by the way, just to be a little closer.
Ayo. Before we conclude Romero's descent into self-parody, first we have to talk about my zombie book, The Thin Light of Life, available on Amazon.com. Corporal David McAllister was nearly finished with college. He had a steady girl and a job lined up after graduation. Life was good. And then the virus broke out in China, turning the locals into cannibals. It spread to Singapore, Tokyo, Mexico City, El Paso. Then Louisville was on lockdown. 15 days to slow the spread. David was called up for active duty again, and the virus was all around him. Please see the link in my comments to buy my book. Now, Pete, today we're going over Survival of the Dead, which is Romero's swan song. And this movie suffers from the success of the previous movie because Romero actually made money with Diary of the Dead because it cost $2 million and and he didn't really have anything to say. I read this in an interview somewhere, but they said, "Hey, do you want to make another one?" And he's getting old, so he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come up with something." And he came up with this.
Oh yeah, I this just feels like such a half-hearted swan song. Um, I was trying and failing to come up with notes for this movie just because there's so little here, other than to point out I've been to Delaware. I don't know where all of they're not even just Irish immigrants. They're like 19th century Irish cowboys,
Yeah,
and
they're
the movie kind
they're
of suggests that there was this like the apocalypse wasn't that long ago, so it's not like people have devolved to this point. Like they were just indigenously 19th century Irish cowboys on this very mountainous island off the coast of Delaware.
I on a secluded island, what I'm referring to as Irish world. There are two families, the O'Flynn's and Muldoons. And like the best idea of this movie, the only like original idea of this movie, is that there's this like early scene where Patrick O'Flynn, who's the patriarch of the O'Flynn family, has to like rounded up a posse to kill all the zombies. And so he's just like, oh, the dead are rising, we have to kill them. And then the other family, the Muldoons, are like, no, we have to save them for like a cure or something, right? What side would you be on, Pete?
I'd say kill all the zombies because, as we've established, they are going to eat you.
That would be my first um that would be my first response. Yeah, and I like Patrick O'Flynn or yeah, Patrick O'Flynn's response on this because like it's if there's a new idea in here, if I'm looking for an idea, it's you cannot ignore a problem. You have to address the problem, especially the hard problems right on. Yeah, we're 3 weeks into the end of the world. The internet was still up. Like like the National Guard unit, who cameoed in the first film, discovered Irish World via a like YouTube video or something, which in my mind, the infrastructure for the internet that they portray in this movie exists today. But like, I don't remember the internet being that great in 2009.
No, I don't remember the internet being that great in 2025,
Yeah,
but we're getting there.
we're getting
Um,
there.
yeah, I'm not sure why of all the characters, Sarge from Diary of the Dead got to be a main character because the actor's terrible and the character is terrible, and I'm like, oh, good, we get to spend more time with him.
I, he's actually, I think, the reason why I like this movie better than Diary. And
Shut the
it's
front door.
well, because like I was a National Guard NCO, right? And like this guy strikes me as a National Guard NCO because he looks like a guy who like while on the one weekend a month he's a National Guard NCO and the rest of the time he's the best janitor at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Right? He's not John Rambo, but he's just a guy who's managed to not die yet.
All right, I will throw out there two characters I marginally like.
Hmm.
I did enjoy that the lesbian was named Tomboy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, George Romero, did you spend all night on that one? Um, but I did like that they introduced a lesbian character and she survived.
Yeah.
It's so yeah. Once you kind of realize that like Hollywood seems to really love killing off lesbians, you're like, oh, they do. Um, it's just you go back and watch like any TV show. It's like there's a lesbian character, like one of them will get killed. Um, but the other character I love and my favorite character is Kenny, because he's just you.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Okay.
just like if they ever make a movie of Derwin, they're casting this actor to play you because he looks and sounds exactly like you.
That's really
So in
sweet.
that sense that you were a National Guard soldier, I'm like, there's just this character who shows up. He's got this nice bald head, and he's just a good supportive soldier. And of course, he gets killed pretty early on. I'm like, that's fucking Derwin.
I would
So when
die.
he died, I was sad. I'm like, I'm done with this movie. I'm not invested anymore.
I would die in the first act. That's on brand for me, right? Like I like to like I would survive the first 3 weeks and then like I would get shot by an Irish cartoon. That makes sense. Yeah. I did like Kenny. I I liked the relations, the chemistry between Tomboy and Francisco, who are both cartoon characters as well. But the sort of like, flirtatious energy. I'm like, oh, they're clearly best friends in the motor pool, right? Like I've met these two before. Like I've seen these two. Like it felt real, like he's a hyper flirtatious guy. But like also he's not like a creep, right? And she's clearly friends with him and she clearly loves the guy like a friend. And those were kind of I think that relationship there was my favorite. Um uh, uh, what were your thoughts on the sort of like reliance on CGI for instead of like the splatter?
Well, I mean the budgets on because Land of the Dead had like a genuine production value,
Yeah.
and then it just keeps going down and down and down to the point that I mean this just feels like it was made on a budget of about $20.
This
And like
actually had a higher budget than Diary.
oh what did they do with it? I mean I'm guessing that whatever island off the coast of Ireland they filmed this in was probably pretty expensive. I
Yeah,
think I looked it up. It was actually filmed in Canada, but you
that makes
know,
sense.
um, the the island looks beautiful.
You
They
know?
probably spent a lot of money on the period costumes for these Irish farmers, which was not necessary. I don't think they needed to build that world.
Yeah, they didn't have to make Irish World. You could just have Delaware. Like,
Yeah,
and I liked how and to go into sort of like Romero's, if there's any social, he kind of recycles a lot of like his greatest hits here. Where like, war bad, capitalism bad, or unregulated late stage capitalism bad, feudalism bad, right? Like Seamus Muldoon, who was now
Hatfield and McCoy bring each other down style family. Sure.
yeah, tribalism bad. Seamus Muldoon, who's king of Irish world, went real fast from like we have to save them for the cure to I want to turn zombies into slaves, right? I'm like, oh, he's a plantation owner. That makes sense.
Wait,
Like,
real quick, is his name actually Seamus Muldoon, or did you just go with the most cartoonishly Irish name ever?
nope, look that up. That's his name.
Holy mackerel, Seamus Muldoon.
Yeah, I'll do one. I'll do you
George
one better.
Romero, I love you, but you're really bad at coming up with these names.
I'll do you one better. You know the twins, the twin girls, the twin women, right? You got the
Yeah,
dead. Yeah, one's named Jan, one's named Janet.
wow.
Those were the names. Jane, and Janet, right? Like it's just you add a T, he was good enough.
All right. Well, I think the dumbest moment in this movie was when either Jan or Janet was on the horse as a zombie, and one of them just goes, "She's dead," and I'm like, "That was your takeaway for okay."
Yeah, yeah. And and then because like you had the first sister die, and then the second sister, like they had the surprise twin sister. There's just like it just feels like a first draft. It feels like he had an idea and somebody else wrote someone else wrote a first draft because like at the end, Patrick O'Flynn after the big. Cause I'll be honest, I spent the last 20 minutes of this movie playing with my kid on the floor, right? Like
All right, so the characters are Seamus Muldoon and Patrick Flanagan.
Patrick O'Flynn.
Patrick O'Flynn. Okay, wait, you're way less stereotypical. Okay.
Yeah, right. And but I remember the last 20 minutes, they're like in between me playing with my, infant on the floor. Um, there's like a big shootout. It's a Hatfields and McCoy's thing, and Seamus Muldoon dies, but then Patrick O'Flynn was like he shoots his daughter for no reason. She's about to be like, guys, the zombies, they ate a horse, right? Like that's something. They're like, oh, we got him to eat a non-human thing. And maybe then we can really make them slaves, right? Because I'm like, oh wow, those white people are real fast at like chain up some zombies to make them slaves, and like, but then they shoot her like they're trying to hide the reveal from the plot to like the next one, right? Like I've edited a few books, I've done a lot of like writing, and I'm like, oh, this is like if you because I've spoken to a lot of like inexperienced authors and sometimes they're like, well, this idea is here. And I'm like, why is this idea here? It has nothing to do with the story. Well, it actually has to help like book six. I'm like, well, book six doesn't matter because we're not done with book one yet. So we have to finish book one first. So all of the ideas have to support book one, right? That's basic story structure. And this feels like he was teeing up some big idea for the next one, maybe. Or maybe I'm just like having too much faith in Romero, like you said in the previous episode. What do you think?
I kind of wonder because I think this was George Romero's last movie ever, not just last movie with the zombie
Yeah.
franchise. So I mean, with a lot of like respect, I'm just kind of like, okay, because there does feel to be this world building, and you know that he was very ambitious one in cinematic universe, but like, I'm not sure if any of the ideas were necessarily good enough to establish anything more.
Yeah.
Like he I think in his mind, because I mean, from what I've been told, at least from what I've read, I mean, George Romero was an independent filmmaker, but he also got screwed over a lot by different, production companies and studios. So I'm kind of wondering if, with maybe some more support, this could have
Yeah.
been more interesting.
Yeah. Maybe.
But like, the acting is bad, the CGI is bad, the
Yeah.
setting of Irish world was confusing. Um,
I saw a behind the scenes thing where Romero was talking about the CGI. He goes, I defy Tom Savini to do better. And I'm like, he probably could.
uh, provably provable. Tom Savini could do 100% better than anything in this movie, and he doesn't even do makeup anymore.
Yeah, or the previous movie. Um, what were your thoughts on the depiction of the soldiers in this movie versus Day of the Dead?
Um, Actually, if I'm gonna give any praise to this movie, I thought the soldier dynamic was more realistic, just
Yeah.
because in Day of the Dead, they're just all villains.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, as we're both soldiers, we can say that there's some assholes in the army, but there's
Yeah.
also some not assholes in the army.
Yeah.
And this movie did give some, I was about to say nuance, but there's nothing nuanced about this movie. Some
Nuance
different
by
shades.
comparison.
Yeah, there's a wider variety. So our Sarge character is an asshole, but thankfully there's funny people, there's nice people, there's boring people. It's like, okay, so we're recognizing that there's a variety of soldiers as opposed to in Day of the Dead when they're all just sociopaths.
It's yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that is the one thing I will say about Survival of the Dead that's better than Day of the Dead.
yeah. All right, that kind of caps up Romero's second trilogy.
Yeah, it was. barely a movie, so this should be a short episode.
It's gonna be a short episode. I had some thoughts on the sort of next trilogy of films we could do. Because there's kind of a remake trilogy that happened. There's the remake of Night that came out in 1990. There's the remake of Dawn from 2005. And there is a very obscure, actually two. There's one's utter garbage. The other one's kind of watchable. There is a remake of Day that came out 2008.
Send it. I'm on board.
Okay. Um,
Mostly
we
because the Dawn of the Dead remake is actually really good.
It's fucking fantastic. It's and maybe much like Catcher in the Rye, maybe much like a lot of those early movies that hit us when we were like at the perfect age. So I wonder how it holds up 20 years later on the rewatch. But like you had Zack Snyder directing but not writing. You had James Gunn writing. You had
Yeah,
the architects of the DC universe writing and directing this film. Like I'm more excited for this film than I was for Survival. Like
I'm more excited about any movie on Earth more than Survival.
it's, but I'm glad we covered it for the podcast, and now we can never watch it again. All right, Pete. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.